I'm here with Mehrad Nazari in the 5+1 interview questions for the Conscious Leadership Guild so that we can get to know one another better. It's good to see you, Mehrad. Thanks for doing this with me.
It's a wonderful opportunity to get to spend some time with you and also to get to know you also
Yeah,
better.
likewise. Thank you. So I'll ask the first question. What's a story about how spiritual wisdom has touched, supported you in life and work?
The story that comes to my mind is that after several years of exploring different practices, I finally found my true teacher. And after a while, the spiritual experiences that you get during the practices, they are so profound that nothing really could replace them. I had a successful real estate company and very active, but what I was getting from those spiritual experiences was so precious that there was a time that I thought, I'm ready to give up everything and devote myself to only spiritual practices, go to India and check in an ashram and explore that world. And one time we were in El Salvador, and I was ready to break the news to my teacher. One afternoon, he was sitting at the beach gazing the ocean, and I thought this is the perfect time. I went there and expecting to receive his support and really be glad that finally I have come to that conclusion. And I told him, I said, Gurudev, I've decided to devote my life to yoga and meditation, and I'm ready to go to India and expecting to, tap on my shoulders and support me. And he was sitting in a lounge chair. He looked up and said, Mehrad, do you think the world needs another yogi? I was really shocked. I wasn't expecting that. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And he looked up at me again. He said, go and do whatever you're doing and make that your spiritual practice.
I like
The
that.
world doesn't need another cave yogi. The world needs yogis in Wall Street and Main Street. I remember I was shocked. I was shaken because I wasn't ready for that response. I basically stepped backward. And later on, I realized after a couple of years that what he really meant. And my following teacher was Swami Veda Bharati from India. And that is exactly what he said. If your spiritual and professional life are not the same as your spiritual life, your personal and professional not as the same as the spiritual life, there is no spiritual life. And that is the essence of applied spirituality.
Well, that kind of leads us into the next one. What wisdom and experience can you offer to the dialogue about conscious leadership?
When we talk about conscious leadership, we have to break it down to consciousness and then leadership. To be conscious is really essence of it is to be awake, to be aware, and aware of self, capital S, and who we really are, that divine nature within every one of us, and also awareness of the environment, our connection with that environment, everything around us. And to be that self, being a part of that web that connects all of us, that is consciousness as we are talking about here. And the other one is leadership. Leader is an agent who is able to create that energy field that inspires people towards a collective goal in an organized fashion. So there are many leaders who are charismatic, that can create that energy field. But the question is, where is their consciousness is coming from? Right. Is it egocentric or is it ecocentric? Is it about me or is it about we? And today we have seen, a gang leader or a leader of a country, they act like a charismatic people, but the consciousness comes from a wrong place. But we truly need a eco-centric leadership, conscious leadership.
I like that. Thanks. What's your learning edge? What energizes you to discover and learn?
The essence of it is really boils down to curiosity and wonder. That are two amazing gifts that we have. And right now, there is so much information. We are living at the time that there has never been so many information about everything, and it's growing exponentially. However, as we're looking at the outside and curiosity about more information, we should equally look inside and be aware of the universe within, as some sages say that the universe within is far vast, more vaster or vast than the universe without. And in a yoga philosophy, once you pass that information level, you get to the level of wisdom. Once we go in, then curiosity that bubbles up and creates that wisdom to come up. That is the beauty.
I like that.
The essence of teaching in many wisdom traditions, especially in Southeast Asia, is that students show up with an empty ball. That books on one hand, empty ball on the other one, that represent the mind. Filling it up, that filling up that ball has a satisfaction, fulfillment, and growth.
Nice. What do you long for?
Our main mantra for teachers, my Walt Baptiste, and now our Raja Yoga Institute, the main mantra is peace, harmony, well-being, and also peace, joy, peace, bliss. Those are what I'm longing for. Evolution of consciousness, that emerging with the source. But if you look at that, what am I longing for? My vision, a lot of leaders are asking that question, what's your vision? And frankly, I do have a practice that I do with some leaders in a retreat, that the first thing is we watch a movie that the mummified bodies then shows the intricacy and complexity of this body temple. What an amazing machine is. It blows your mind, absolutely. Yeah. And then they're given an assignment of go to the nature and bring me a report about the details of things that you see that you hadn't seen before. And they're blown away with the details of, wow, what a complex world that is. And then if you are near the ocean or sea, we go scuba diving or snorkeling and see the world down below the surface that we usually see. And finally, the video of the Hubble telescope that shows us the billions of stars and planets in our galaxy, and then having billion galaxies in the world. People come back with a really deeper humility, radical inclusion, radical acceptance, more open to collaboration. And at that point, the vision is really far bigger than what we could see at any point, much vaster, much larger. And that is
that's great.
My vision of emerging with that source.
I like that. Thank you. That's great. What kind of support are you inviting from other guild members?
As you have, I'm sure you have experienced, we have talked about this in the past, that, it is such a gift to be part of this group. There is so much wisdom. And from the very first time that I've been with this group, I've learned so much because of who they are, by doing the same thing. And that is very inspiring. I was remembering that first time I came to the guild, somebody in the plane was asking me where I was going. I said, to a conference. And I said, what is it about? I said, I have no clue. But I just came to it with that empty ball. But frankly, after being there for 3 days, I came back with the altered state of consciousness. It was
Wow.
such a different level of being. So I'm inviting them to be who they are and share more of their stories. I learned from
Yeah,
their stories. Yes,
great. Thank you so much.
sure.
So now we have the open-ended questions, and I'm going to ask you, what gives you the most fun, joy, contentment, and fulfillment in your life and work?
My teacher, Swami Veda Bharati, used to say that the pleasure centers in the brain, when we receive something that we desire, triggers areas in the brain. They're the same place that when we give something.
Yeah.
And I was contemplating on that concept, and I realized that, when I receive something, generally speaking, you're obligated to reciprocate, give something back. So there's a feeling of obligation. But when you give something, you're totally free. You just light up that, energize that center in the brain. You are having that pleasure without any obligations. And the biggest pleasure to me is when I share ideas
Mm,
and students or clients, realize that they have learned something toward their gift of contributing to humanity, that agency that they have. That smile is the biggest pleasure
that's
to me.
great.
That is the biggest gift to me that I enjoy the most.
Yeah, when you say they get it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
that is, yes,
All
beautiful.
right. Thanks so much for taking the time with me, Mehrad. I really have appreciated getting to know you in our conversations, but also this process. And I love the answers that you have to these questions. So
Likewise, it's a
I'm
gift
sure.
to be with you, John. Thank you.
Thank you.